We start with breaking news. Became known that the general of the Iranian army, Ismail Kaani, was executed for spying for the Mossad. On February 28, Kaani left the residence of Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei just an hour before the U.S. strike. It is reported that the mole was identified thanks to Chinese military intelligence, which transmitted intercepted telephone conversations to Iran, but this information obviously still needs to be confirmed. And right now, a huge column of black smoke is rising into the sky above the Iranian intelligence building. Israel and the United States are launching new attacks on Tehran. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is striking with the 19th wave of Operation True Promise. There are no signs of de-escalation. On the contrary, the Pentagon, according to Politico, admits that the war will last at least 100 days, but most likely the war will last until September. Today, U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth will meet with the leadership of the U.S. Central Command to discuss the continuation of the military operation. Today, Lavrov ironically called France's ambitions for nuclear deterrence in Europe Macron's umbrella. The French president proposed a new security architecture to the Europeans, as is well known, without regard for Washington. Paris, according to his idea, will have a major role. According to Macron, 8 European states will join the doctrine. The 3 NATO leaders with record defense budgets are Britain, Poland and Germany, and the 5 countries that control Europe's sea gates. The Netherlands and Belgium have the largest ports, Rotterdam and Antwerp. Sweden and Denmark are also closing the exit from the Baltic Sea. And Greece is Europe's southern outpost ahead of the Middle East. Macron is trying to sit on 2 chairs at once. France today allowed American aircraft to use military bases on its territory for the Iranian war, according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Fifth Republic. France made this decision after Iranian drones hit French military installations in the United Arab Emirates. Today, France has agreed with Italy and Greece to coordinate the deployment of military forces in Cyprus and the Eastern Mediterranean. Italy is already sending its ships there. The defense ministers of Cyprus and Britain discussed the strengthening of air defense. The kingdom has 2 military bases on the island at once. London will additionally send helicopters and 4 Typhoon fighter jets there. As Prime Minister Starmer has just announced, well, that is, Europe, one way or another, is being dragged into a war in the Middle East.
Zelensky has completely lost his mind. He threatens Orban with his armed mutts. Further, a direct quote, if the Hungarian Prime Minister continues to block the allocation of money, he will inform the Ukrainian military of Orban's address, so that they can communicate with him in their own language. That is, in the language of terrorists. It can be understood. That way, Budapest vetoed it precisely because of Zelensky's actions, which prevents the transit of Russian oil through the Druzhba oil pipeline. Orban, in turn, said that he would win this issue by force. There will be no compromises or mutual concessions. In this struggle, Orban has a reliable and proven ally, Putin. Yesterday, during a meeting in the Kremlin with Hungarian Foreign Minister Szijjártó, the Russian president assured that he would not leave Hungary without energy resources. Gas and oil will go to Hungary in the same volumes and at the old prices fixed in the contracts. In addition, as a gesture of goodwill, we handed to Szijjártó 2 Hungarians who fought on the side of Ukraine and were captured by our Russian military. These are residents of Transcarpathia with dual citizenship. Zelensky's military commissars forcibly grabbed them on the street, dressed them in uniforms, and threw them into the trenches. As you know, we must have a preliminary agreement with the Ukrainian side regarding future deliveries of aviation, regarding the Gripen and Rafale fighters. Mikhail and I talked about it yesterday. We hope that one person in the European Union will not block 90 billion or the first tranche of these 90 billion. And Ukrainian soldiers will have weapons. Otherwise, we will give the address of this person to our armed forces, to our guys. Let them call him and communicate with him in their own language. Frontline News. In the Donetsk direction, Russian military units liberated the village of Yereveya. Thus, the West group of troops improved its tactical position. The enemy lost 3 armored fighting vehicles and 2 artillery pieces, including an American M777 howitzer. Active military operations are also underway in other areas. The North group attacked Ukrainian positions in the border areas of Sumy and Kharkiv regions. An ammunition depot and several camouflage storage facilities were destroyed. The most intense fighting is taking place in the area of responsibility of the center group. Our guys had to repel attacks from several mechanized and assault brigades of the Ukrainian army at once. The losses of the Ukrainian side there exceeded 345 people. A combat vehicle of the Czech multiple rocket launcher Vampire was also destroyed.
Pay attention to the screen. This is the moment when an Iranian missile hit an American military base in Bahrain. A ballistic missile hit this object directly. The air defense systems either didn't work or they didn't exist at all. Reuters also reported that explosions were heard in Abu Dhabi, near the international airport. The headquarters of the American military, located near the air harbor, was hit. The Persian Gulf countries have become a fire trap. Tens of thousands of tourists are trapped in airports. Outbound flights are underway, but there are not enough planes for everyone. Almost 16,000 Russians have already left this dangerous region. About 7,000 passengers were able to fly from the United Arab Emirates in just one day, according to the Association of Russian Tour Operators today. 8 countries in the Middle East are already under attack by Tehran. In response to the aggression of Israel in the United States, Iran destroys Washington's main weapon, the financial system and black gold. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps attacked an American oil tanker in the northern part of the Persian Gulf. According to the IRGC, the Strait of Hormuz is under the full control of the Islamic Republic. If the ships of Israel, Europe or the United States go there, they will immediately be sent to the bottom. Saudi Arabia is redirecting millions of barrels of oil to the Yanbu port on the Red Sea, in order to be able to continue supplying oil to the world market, Bloomberg reports.
Only the one who started the war in the Middle East can stop it. And this is definitely not Russia, as Peskov said today. The Kremlin recalled that our country has declared from the very beginning its position that any escalation is unacceptable, as it leads to the destabilization of the entire region. But if this has not been avoided, then our task is to think about ourselves and try to minimize the damage to the economy. The war that is going on is not our war. And from the very beginning, we have declared our position that any war can lead to the destabilization of the region. That's exactly what we see. We see an ever-growing number of countries that are involved in this war. We must do what suits our interests. We must now minimize the consequences for our economy from the global shocks that we can see are already beginning. We should probably provide benefits for ourselves wherever possible, no matter how cynical it may sound. Are we able to stop this war? No, we are not capable. It can only be stopped by the one who started it. From our point of view, they are the ones who should do it.
An absolutely incredible news. Today it became known that Malta refused to help the crew of the Russian tanker Arctic Medegas. This was reported by the Russian embassy on the island. The day before, our tanker was attacked by a Ukrainian drone in the Mediterranean Sea. When the ship sent SOS signals, the Maltese authorities ignored it. They stated at the same time that this incident allegedly occurred outside their search and rescue zone. Therefore, the evacuation of the sailors, tension, is not within their competence. That is, let them all drown. As a result, Libyan rescuers provided assistance to the Russian crew. Our sailors who were burned are in the hospital in Benghazi right now. The rest of the sailors are already returning to Murmansk, according to Bloomberg. There is another Russian tanker with liquefied natural gas in the Mediterranean right now. This ship, Arctic Pioneer, was returning to the Russian port from China. After the terrorist attack, the ship was forced to stop. and now it is located near the Egyptian port of Sed. The International Maritime Association, and this is also symptomatic, flatly refused to investigate the actions of the Kiev regime, as did Malta. They stated that this was not their area of expertise.
Europe is in shock due to the war in the Middle East amid disruptions in energy supplies. Prices in the EU have started to rise uncontrollably. In Spain, the cost of electricity soared by 50% in one day. Gasoline and diesel fuel prices have risen by 20% there. In Germany, gas station owners don't have time to change the price tags. Burgers complain that they are being ripped off like a Christmas turkey. They're so poor. They say that now they will have to spend their entire salary only on trips to and from work. The British are in a panic. They are buying gasoline for the future. There are queues at gas stations. People are loading cars full of cans to capacity. They are afraid of scarcity, and they are afraid for a reason. There will definitely be a shortage. China stops exporting diesel fuel and gasoline. India is urgently increasing its purchases of oil from Russia. Urals, our oil, is already worth $75 per barrel. Oh, the price ceiling. Where are you? Bloomberg writes that Russian tankers around the world are abruptly changing routes. They are sending goods to Indian ports and ports of other friendly countries. Let me remind you that Trump boasted recently that he allegedly forced New Delhi to abandon trade with Russia. So far, the White House is pretending that nothing is happening, that they don't notice anything. Over the past 3 days, it should be understood that maritime traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has decreased by 90%.
Russia and Ukraine conducted a prisoner exchange today. According to the Ministry of Defense, 200 Russian soldiers, including fathers with many children, were returned from the territory controlled by Kiev. In return, we handed over the same number of Ukrainian fighters to the Ukrainian side. Mediation services, and this is important, were provided by the United Arab Emirates and the United States.
Dear friends, I kindly ask you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.